Ah, yes, here's something that I would probably not expect to be talking about on this channel, and that is The Simpsons. Now, here's the thing. There's going to be a little bit of discussion in this video, along with, maybe, if we're all lucky, a little bit of announcements. So stay tuned. But anyway, I've been kind of a big, huge fan of Fox adult cartoon Saturdays or Sundays or whatever the heck they are. Whenever they come out, I've been a big, huge fan of them. Not only because of Family Guy, which I still watch, come at me. I think some episodes, very few, but some are still pretty hilarious. Bob's Burgers, which is downright wholesome at times, and other times just absolutely hilarious. I still, to this day, have no idea how they've done it, because it's season 11 and they're still going strong. Actually, no, it's season 13, whatever. It's been a long time and they're still going strong. I don't know. I have no idea how they done that. But I've also been watching current episodes of The Simpsons. Why would I put myself through all that torture and pain, you may ask? Well, it's basically because there's nothing else on and I'm just like, okay, why not? It's on Hulu, it's right there, it's popping out the seams. Whatever, I'll just turn it on, see what it's all about, whatever. And I've actually started to do this basically when The Simpsons were first coming out on Disney Plus, where the entire series was on Disney Plus instead of just having to have a FXX account and also having a cable subscription in order to watch every episode of The Simpsons, which is not futuristic, so, I really couldn't do that necessarily. But surprisingly, because Disney bought Fox, somehow this adult cartoon is on Disney Plus. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently they're going to be merging Hulu and Disney Plus into one streaming service, so yeah, anything's possible. But up until that point, I've just been watching, newer episodes of The Simpsons, and I was just like, why is this show so popular? It's so monotonous and boring and kind of weird. Mostly I just watch it because there's some huge star that's guest starring on the show, like Lady Gaga, and it turned out to be trash. Or Elon Musk, which also turned out to be trash. Then I saw everyone on YouTube just saying, oh yeah, The Simpsons, seasons 2 through, 8 or something like that. I don't even know. But seasons 2 through 8, absolute gold, the best adult animation ever created. You need to watch it. So since it came out on Disney Plus and I have a subscription and it was just sitting there and I was like, all right, let's watch it. I guess let's watch every single episode of The Simpsons. At least, the supposed golden age. And you know what? It's rock solid. I gotta say, maybe not every, but most jokes are just amazing and work, and it's all that. The animation is a pure spectacle in and of itself. When they actually had guest stars on the show, it was actually funny instead of pandering. It was actually funny, which I was like, where am I right now? And not only that, but the show was actually heartfelt, and I actually had feelings about certain episodes. I almost wanted to cry in some certain episodes. I, again, was dumbfounded that I could feel anything while watching The Simpsons. Also, the whole thing about being random with Family Guy and all that, which I thought originated with Family Guy. No. This happened in The Simpsons too, in its heyday, They did it way before Family Guy, although I think Family Guy kind of perfected it, especially after The Simpsons went off the deep end. But no, as South Park would say, Simpsons did it. Now, there's many people that kind of predict where the golden age of The Simpsons kind of ended, officially or unofficially. Many people say the Prince and the Pauper or whatever that, Principal and the Pauper, whatever that stupid thing where The Simpsons jumped the shark in season 9, which, granted, that was a bad episode, but at the same time, I don't think that's where The Simpsons ended its golden age, in my opinion, at least. At least in my eyes, where I stopped watching it was where a lot of people tended to think that this is maybe the series finale, or should have been the series finale of The Simpsons, which was the MTV retrospective episode at the end of season 11. So technically, I would qualify the golden age of The Simpsons as being season 1 through season 11. That's kind of where the series should have stopped, in my opinion, at least for a while. Because after season 11, and of course there were some episodes that did actually not suck that hard, but for the most part, many seasons on many different episodes on many different seasons sucked the big one really hard. It was mostly pandering toward, celebrities and all that. It was mostly focused on side characters that weren't necessarily The Simpsons. Instead of focusing on Springfield, it was mostly focused on everywhere else besides Springfield, which was the integrity of the show. It was basically a commentary on, the sitcom and all that type of stuff. That's what Matt Groening kind of said when he was creating The Simpsons. But nowadays, after season 11, actually after season 9, but after season 11 especially, they started having more guest stars, having more pandering, having more, weird, crazy shenanigans happening after this, not in Springfield and all that, and kind of rectifying / reinventing the timeline of The Simpsons, because The Simpsons will not ever age. So instead of Homer being from the 70s, growing up in the 70s, which is canonical, there was this huge backlash when they kind of changed his backstory, where he grew up in the 80s, and then he grew up in the 90s. And nowadays, he grew up in the, late 90s, early 2000s, after, Freddy Fazbear ripoff and all that type of stuff, like the parody that they did very recently. And yeah, that makes me feel kind of sad deep down, but anyway. But yeah, I'm not going to badmouth anybody necessarily. I mean, no hate to any creatives or anything like that, but I just gotta say it. Since Al Jean kind of took over as the main person in The Simpsons, and since a lot of the creatives and writers from the golden age of The Simpsons tended to kind of retire or quit the show after, season 9, basically, or actually season 8, I don't even know. They started popping off after 5, and then they a lot of them tended to go after season 8, I believe, but ever since then, the show's been kind of on life support. Now, yes, there have been some decent episodes, but they've been very few and very far between the terrible garbage episodes where, yes, Jackass Homer existed, or exists, or existed, whatever you want to call him. Although, yes, he was, kind of a jackass in the golden age. He also had a heart. You also, respected him and loved him. But later on, as the show kind of progressed after season 11 especially, he became kind of an ass. Lisa became more unbearable, even more unbearable than she was before. Bart became more cooler than he was before. Not necessarily, the rambunctious rapscallion that he was in the golden age, but just kind of there and just doing whatever. And Marge's voice is kind of, failing. And again, no disrespect to the voice actors or the creatives or anything like that. I mean, they're trying, they're trying. I know that they're trying, but at the same time, they're at this point very creatively bankrupt. I mean, they've done the Homer learning to be a better husband and father like numerous times throughout season 11 up until season 30. Oh my gosh, 15 seasons of this crap. More than 15 seasons of this crap. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why I haven't really been wanting to watch or do anything in regards to The Simpsons, because there's a huge, gigantic stretch of time where it's just nothing. It's not good. But something came on that kind of reignited my love for The Simpsons. Something happened. I don't necessarily know precisely what it is, but I have my theories as to what it is. But something happened right around season 32 and 33 and all that, where The Simpsons actually became sort of good. It actually became kinda funny and inventive and smart and funny again. May have said funny like a couple times, but I can't believe I actually laughed and cracked a smile through some of their jokes. It's actually uncanny. And while, yes, it's not necessarily the golden age of The Simpsons anymore, I mean, if they make a quality product and if they make something that's enjoyable to watch, I don't care if it's something completely different from the original source material. It gives an emotional reaction, and it gives a good emotional reaction. So I don't really care. Yes, it is different, but it's a good different. Instead of, doing the same thing over and over and over again, they're doing stuff that's very, very different. Like, for instance, I think it was in season 34, I believe, in Treehouse of Horror, their Treehouse of Horror episode, they had an entire sequence animated like it was Death Note from the original, Death Note's animation company. And it's awesome. I can't believe they did that. They also did an episode where they did this really weird kind of Treehouse of Horror type of episode. Not necessarily Treehouse of Horror, but it was like a bunch of different, things that were in the vault, quote unquote, in The Simpsons that was taken out, like deleted scenes and all that type of stuff that they were showing on air. And one of them was the fact that Ralph, I don't think he was Ralph or Martin. There it is. I had to look it up. Martin is actually not a kid, but is some kind of undercover agent through the entirety of the 33 seasons. Was actually a undercover agent with a whole family and everything. He just has this growth impediment or something where he's short and looks like a kid in Bart's class, like a fourth grader and all that. That is absolutely hilarious. And it's not canon, but it's absolutely hilarious. Because I did not expect that to happen, but it did, and it's just so good. So they're experimenting more. They're creating different things, and it's something that The Simpsons had kind of needed forever, probably since season 11. I mean, they had to try something else new, and they've done it, and it's great. Now, this was a huge thing on Twitter that kind of blew up a little bit, the Martin thing. But at this, it was kind of like the Prince and the Pauper or whatever, but it's not canon, guys. It's just some kind of weird goof that they did, and it worked. I mean, it worked. Their whole troll thing worked. Also, on top of that, how people are kind of complaining about Jackass Homer these days and all that type of thing? Well, turns out, if you watch the show recently, he's actually kind of the sweetest he's ever been. He's actually kind of a teddy bear. And yeah, I'm down for it, I don't want Homer to be just this weird, just angry dad all the time, just after his own betterment or whatever. Nowadays, he's just kind of there for the family and all that. He's not necessarily doing anything crazy or bad anymore. He's just always there. He's always super sweet. And you know what? I'm down for it. Lisa, who, again, is not necessarily my favorite character, but, even she kind of started to make a better character arc and just started to become a better character these days. Nowadays, she's not, preaching the gospel of why we need to be green or whatever, that type of stuff, and just being overly confident and just annoying. Nowadays, she's kind of just the voice of reason. Yeah, she's still smart, and yeah, once in a while she can kind of be a little, preachy, but not as much as she was like in season 25 or whatever, it's quietly just kind of dumbed down a little bit. Like, for instance, there was this episode fairly recently where The Simpsons did a parody on Elizabeth Holmes and her whole debacle that came across these days and all that. And she was actually kind of a fan of this supposed, Elizabeth Holmes insert character, but then she turned out to be evil, and then she was just like, oh shoot, well, I don't really know what to do now. So not even she's correct all the time and all that. And it's, yeah, thank you. Finally, something else to kind of develop her character. So there are a couple of things that I don't necessarily fully know if they actually changed anything, but I noticed some differences with the show and certain people coming on board and certain people, doing some things and all that kind of makes me think that it might be these factors that are kind of making this show a little bit better, at least for now. And that is the inclusion of Matt Selman as, the co-head of production for The Simpsons. For a while, especially through the dark age of The Simpsons, lasting from at least season 9 through now, basically, it's all been Al Jean, who's been kind of the main focal point of The Simpsons and the main creative head over The Simpsons and how The Simpsons would kind of go and move forward and all that. But as of fairly recently, I think it was season 32, I believe, Matt Selman, who I believe was one of the original creators on the golden age of The Simpsons, he was I think he was a writer or something on there. He became the co-head of production, I guess, or something like that. And yeah, it actually shows. And no disrespect to Al Jean or anything like that, but I gotta say, he may have been one of the main factors as to why The Simpsons was kinda bad. Also, another contributing factor is the fact that Disney bought Fox. Now, one of the main jewels that Fox had in its arsenal, in its crown of many, many great things that they had was, in fact, The Simpsons. And I think Disney kind of saw that and was like, okay, well, The Simpsons, we're not going to stop making Simpsons, episodes and all that. So why don't we just, do a little bit more creativeness and make it a little bit more better, just do whatever the hell you want. Don't necessarily think about whatever, you have to stick to the canon or whatever, do the same thing over and over again. Just be creative, do whatever you want. We'll give you money. We'll do whatever you want to be done. And you know what? I don't know if that actually happened or not, but I just gotta be real with you. Before Disney bought Fox, The Simpsons was crummy, but now since Disney bought Fox, The Simpsons has gotten a lot better. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because of Matt Selman coming in, but I gotta say, Disney did something because the animation, it looks a lot better than the stagnated, stuff that we've seen in season 26. I don't know, just random Simpsons later season or something. I don't know. It looks a lot better than that. It looks a lot, there's other animation studios that are coming in to do actual episodes instead of just doing the, couch gag or whatever, They're addressing the criticisms rather than just, letting people online complain about it. And more people are tending to watch it. I've seen a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of an uptick with their watchability and all that, which is good. You know, it means we'll get more great episodes like this. Which leads me to my little announcement here. I am going to try my best to attempt to review and watch every single episode of The Simpsons in its entirety from now until perpetuity, probably. Doing those little episode recap and reviews nowadays. Now, granted, I was born in, like, the late 90s, so I'm kind of late to the party in reviewing that type of stuff, but dare I say it, the golden age of The Simpsons, that's gold. It's real good, okay? And granted, the one reason why I didn't want to, or the couple reasons why I didn't really necessarily want to do episode recap and reviews on The Simpsons is because A, they're still going. I mean, they're literally on like season 35 now, and they're still going. So it's gonna be a tough hill to climb. I'll probably never get to the end of this, but yeah. And the second thing, but probably the biggest thing, is the reason why didn't necessarily want to do this is because the middle parts, I don't want to go into a series and just get let down after, you know, the crappiness kind of weighs in and all that. Like, the golden age is the golden age, and then it just progressively gets worse and worse after the golden age ends and all that. It's one of the reasons why I haven't necessarily, you know, watched or done the entire series of Game of Thrones yet. It's because I know season 8's gonna suck, and I don't necessarily want to watch something that's gonna suck. But I know, you know, seasons 3 and 4 are fantastic, and the Battle of the Bastards is great, but, you know, season 8, it's just a train wreck. I don't know if I want to watch it or not, but I want to get the full thing down and out of the way so I can watch House of the Dragon and all that type of stuff, which is apparently pretty good. So, you know, I don't know. But same thing with The Simpsons. If I'm going to watch something, I want it to be good throughout, like most people, right? And I don't necessarily want to watch the dark age of The Simpsons, which is like 20 seasons of, you know, 25 plus episodes per season, and it's just absolute garbage. So it kind of didn't necessarily make me want to watch or react or review every episode of this series. But because the series is actually getting pretty good, and because there's episodes that aren't absolute trash, now I'm kind of thinking, you know what? Maybe this is the time. I've got something to work my way up to. It'll be a huge uphill battle because, again, there's 20 seasons of 25 plus episodes per season that are going to be trash. But hey, I'm here for it. If you guys like it, I'll keep on doing it. So that's my announcement. God help us all. But anyway, though, guys, what do you think? I just thought about just popping in here and just kind of kind of voicing my own opinion on The Simpsons and modern Simpsons and how it's not necessarily the golden age, but it's a lot better than it was, and my reasons as to why that may be. But anyway, though, what do you guys think? Are we in a new Simpsons renaissance? Why do you think that is? Comment, let me know, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. More vids coming your way, and hey, take care, guys.